Welcome everyone, this is the 8th episode of my Dragon Age Origins Hardcore 100% playthrough. In the last episode we managed to pick up combat stealth, which hopefully is gonna help us survive one of the most dangerous random encounters in the game. We also looted some armor in the Dalish camp, so let me just quickly switch it so that we can start farming this encounter. The reason why I want to farm it is because it's much more dangerous if it happens randomly, especially if we are with the team. I think we would have a very high chance of actually losing someone simply because of the unfair nature of this encounter. So first we're gonna go to Denerim, and then from Denerim we're gonna travel to the Frostback Mountains. From there we're gonna go back to Denerim, and we're gonna go back and forth until we trigger the encounter. Hopefully we don't have to farm it for long, because this is a very common encounter for me. No luck, let's go to the Frostback Mountains. Okay, there we go. So let's get into stealth immediately. There are a bunch of traps in front of us, which we don't see, but I know that they are there. So to try to deal as much damage as possible, I'm gonna trigger the elite and the normal to come towards the emissary. Once they are grouped together, I'm gonna bomb all of them. Hopefully we're not gonna be discovered, at least until the emissary is dead. Very good, the emissary is dead. I'm just gonna stealth bomb until I get discovered. Oh, there goes my stealth, but only 2 darkspawn left. I still don't want to leave anything to chance. I'm gonna summon the wolf. And as you can see, we have a new ability, which I will call Double Crit. Double Crit happens if you enter stealth while you're using dual striking. As long as both attacks connect, it's gonna be an automatic double critical damage. Since we're here at the Frostback Mountains, let's just get the team first.
Yes.
And we might as well just start tracking down the smugglers for the Irregulars and the apprentices for the Mage Collective.
I'll do it.
The elite smuggler can be a bit of a pain here because he hits really hard. So if he attacks Morrigan, that's a problem. Which is why I'm setting up Morrigan so that she would use horror on anyone who is attacking her with melee weapons,
What now?
and use Mind Blast if she's surrounded by 2 or more enemies. In case the elite decides to target Leliana, I will make sure that she uses Dirty Fighting on anyone who's attacking her with melee weapons. And I'm gonna put this on the top of the tactics list so that this could be a priority whenever it happens. I also set her up so that she would defend Morrigan by pinning anyone who is attacking her. Let's get Wolfie before we talk to the guy.
Yes? Oh? What was this about? I worried this might happen. I hoped it wouldn't be you who came for me. I have no choice. Forgive me, Warden, but I cannot go back with you.
So the first thing I'm gonna do is position the team further back. This way, when they attack the enemy, they're gonna automatically arrange themselves in a way that the melee guys are gonna be at the front and the ranged guys are gonna be at the back. Since Morrigan was attacked with the melee weapons, she disabled the guy with horror, which allows me to focus on the elite while he's distracted by the wolf. Sounds like Wolfie has an upset tummy. Okay, we got the supplies and the frost shear ring, which would be a pretty good accessory for Morrigan if she would use Winter's Grasp.
What can we do?
Just keep your head down.
What can I do for you? This ought to be interesting. Such diction. This man is a true scholar and rhetorician. I am honored to be fired by one such as he. Good day.
So let's get to the Callan hot dogs because there's another smuggler there, and that way we can also start Stan's quest. With the most dangerous random encounter gone, I'm not that afraid of fast travel anymore, but I'm still on my toes.
How did a child survive that? The crater is still smoking. It's a boy. 5 fingers, 5 toes. That's all that matters to me. The Maker has answered our prayers. Let's go home, Marta, and raise the Tyke as our own.
Not gonna lie, I'm pretty happy that it's the star medal. There's the scavenger for Stan's quest. Let's talk to him first.
Back off! I was here first. That doesn't matter none to you. I'm an honest businessman. I wasn't bothering nobody, and I was here first. They're mine. Not literally, you understand. They're not my bodies. I mean, I only got one, and I'm not dead or nothing. But I was here first. I get that a lot. All right, if it'll make you leave my spot quicker. Dunno, could have been Darkspawn. Probably was. Could have been bandits, though. Doesn't matter, really. They're just as dead no matter what did it. Now, how much would that bit of information be worth to you? Good enough. I knew the guy who was here before me. He sold me this spot. Said he found giants and all kind of crazy valuables. He didn't mention that he'd taken everything but the bones and the dirt already. His name's Faryn. Squirrely little bastard, if you ask me. Which you didn't, but I said it anyway. No, that's some freeholder or other. He just sold me the looting rights. I'm not building a house here or nothing. He was going to Orzammar, he said. I imagine he's gotten there by now. If you find him, tell him I sent you. It'll scare the piss out of him.
It seems like Alistair leveled up. So let's quickly distribute the attribute points and pick up a talent for him. 3 on strength, and we're gonna pick up precise striking, which means that 1 more level and he can finally start taunting. There's the second smuggler. He doesn't really require any special tactics because he and his men are pretty weak, but I'm still getting Wolfie.
What business would the mighty Grey Wardens have with a man like me? Oh? What was this about? Oh, I see. Faryn must have sent you. I refuse to answer to a pawn of Tauren. Come, men, to arms!
Okay, let's go to the inn. I'm thirsty. Honestly, any reason just to linger in this place.
Yes, of course.
Welcome back to the Spoiled Princess. How may I serve you today? It was my father's idea. He ran the inn before me, and he named it for my sister. She was his little princess. Princess decided the country was too dull for her and moved to Denerim. More glamorous, she said. Well, she was found murdered, robbed of all the trinkets my father bought her with his hard-earned money. My father died of shock and heartbreak. Mother stopped eating, and I got the struggling in. The name stuck. That's the story. Of course. What would you like?
Okay, let's just give the road into Leliana already.
Oh, it's one of those subterranean bunny pigs. Oh, look at him. Come here, you. He's probably just hungry. Oh, he's snuffling me. Snuffle, snuffle. Thank you so much. You've made my day.
Welcome back to the Spoiled Princess. How may I serve you today? Of course. What would you like?
Okay, let's get to Denerim. Let's get to the Mage Collective guy first, so that we can turn in the False Witnesses quest.
All men are the work of our Maker's hand. From the
A little something extra for friendship.
Okay, he turned into a ventriloquist. Let's pick up one of the body bags for the
Came at
tavern
me.
quest.
It's not my fault. Why do you come at me?
Okay, he's going for the 5th. So let's get to the other 2 apprentices. One is here in the Market District, and the other one is in the Wonders of Thedas.
What is it? I have work to do. What does it say? Ah, I knew this would happen. Just when I was starting to get good. Well, thanks, I guess.
Before we go into the Wonders of Thedas, let's quickly talk to Cesar, who is a fantastic merchant for rogues.
If you have coin, welcome to our shop. If not, move along. Too many refugees blocking customers. I didn't think so, sir. Too much flesh on the bones. You walk tall, proud, not hunched. Sad times in Ferelden. Oh, yes.
Cesar has great stuff for rogues, including some of the best poison recipes in the game. He will also have a special stock option once we finish the Trials of the Crows quest. But for now we're gonna get the concentrated crow poison recipe, which will add 6 nature damage to our weapon and a 15% chance to cause a 7-second stun on enemies with each hit. While I'm here, I'm also gonna read the Grey Warden poster. This way I will have the password when I try to open Payden's door in the Pearl. Okay, let's go to the Wonders of Thedas. I'm still trying to avoid Landry. I'm still not ready for him.
Yes, make it quick. Strange. Let's see this. I knew it. I gave that man the best 7 weeks of my life. Well, I guess he won't have me to push around anymore. Ha!
Let's check out Genetivi's house as well. He has 2 books which we can read. We're not gonna start the quest yet, we're just gonna go after that 150 XP. Let's pick up the quest from the sergeant as well. I can't finish it because I've already visited 2 places, but this way in the next episode we can just finish all of his tasks in one go.
You here to report another crime? I swear we should just cordon off the entire district. Oh, can I help you, Warden? Your likeness was passed around to the senior guardsman at the palace. I must say, the sketch didn't do you much justice. Don't worry, even if I believed the official story of what happened at Ostagar, I'm no fool. If I asked my men to apprehend you, they'd all run and cry big sobby tears in their courtesans' bosoms and leave me all alone to be skewered. Don't disturb the peace in the market, and that's well enough for me. The lower market isn't deemed important by the captain of the guard, even less with Arl Howe in charge. So when I finally get the new men I request, I get the delightful surprise of discovering their Lord Such-and-Such's illegitimate, untrained, moronic whelps. But lords keep sending me more of them. It's decent pay, no expectations, a uniform. So I have a legion of bastards to protect the market from pickpockets, stabbings, and whatnot. And All Howe's specially picked men are the worst of the lot. With the bastards, I just have to worry about dicing, the odd bit of drool, or yelling at them too loudly and hurting their poor feelings, and then getting chewed out by their noble fathers. But I swear, the Arl's men are more criminal than the miscreants we occasionally arrest. Some of them are the criminals we have to arrest. So if your lifeblood isn't draining in the gutters as we speak, don't bother reporting it. What? You're serious? I mean, yes, I could use help. I've got a pretty popular establishment that's crawling with mercenaries. If I send my boys in, someone might get, maker forbid, hurt, and I'll have to explain to their noble fathers that being a guard is actually dangerous. The name of the whorehouse is the Pearl. Beat down any mercenaries that are out of line and send them a message. I said beat down, not kill. Let me make that really clear. Not on fire, or exploded, or make a nose, whatever type of grisly death you can dream up. Sorry. Used to giving orders to my boys. Just leave them breathing and I'll be happy. Thank you, Warden. Happy hunting.
So back to the Mage Collective guy, because we found all the apprentices.
The Mages Collective thanks you. Make us smile upon you.
So, since I want to do the Denerim quests, and I can't do them because I've been 2 places already, I'm just gonna go back to the camp and boost the approvals of my followers.
If there's anything I can do for you, please tell me. I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Now that I made some money, I'm gonna buy 2 boots from Bodan. One is the Silverhammer's Trackmaster for Leliana, which gives 2 decks, and the other one is the Imperial Weavers for Morrigan, which gives 10% dodge. Morrigan also gets another gift.
A fine gift. You have my thanks.
Oh, how dear of you. Thank you so much.
I am impressed. My thanks.
Something you need? I'm sure either my boy or I can help you out. Some folks aren't happy about Tyrn Loghain being named Regent. There are rumors he had something to do with the king's death. Isn't that the most ridiculous thing you ever heard? The Darkspawn killed him, sure enough. If Tyrn Loghain couldn't save the king from that inn, then nobody could. That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Take it for what it is. Well, if you're really interested, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to tell you. I am originally from Orzammar, the famed dwarven city that lies beneath the stately Frostback Mountains. I was a merchant there, too. Merchant caste. These things are in the blood, you know. You can't just leave them behind. I ran a fairly successful business. Rare artifacts, you know. Old things, grand things. The nobles loved them. Reminded them of the lost glory days, I suppose. Our kingdoms once spanned the length of Thados, from majestic Orzammar to Kal Sharok to glittering Darmalin far to the west. They say the gold and silver veins ran so thick through the stone of Darmalin that the entire city sparkled. The Darkspawn took it all, of course. One by one, the old Tigers fell, and then all that was left was Orzammar. But we were talking about how I ended up here, weren't we? One day, a noble woman came to my store. She looked around for a bit and then started shrieking in dismay. Apparently, she believed that a pair of braces I had for sale once belonged to her brother. He'd been lost in a cave-in, you see, while on an expedition to clear out the Darkspawn from one of the tunnels running close to the city. They were made specially for him. They're unique, she shrieked. He stole them from my poor brother's corpse. She had me arrested on the spot, of course. Nobles, they're touchy like that. Well, I didn't steal them. You see, I'd been paying these castless thugs to venture out into the deep roads for me. The lost tigers, they're full of things that people left behind. Sometimes you can find a treasure, something worth a little gold. The noblewoman, she wasn't too happy with the theft of her brother's braces. I don't know what they planned for me, and I didn't want to find out. Bribed the guard that was watching me and took off for the surface first opportunity I got. Never looked back. I thank the stone every single day. Now, is there anything the boy or I can get you? Look, we don't rob people, all right? We don't take things from people that need them. The things in the Lost Tigers, what good did they do lying there? I brought them back to Orzammar, where people could look at them and remember. It's not all that different up here. There are places long abandoned by the humans everywhere. Even more now with the Darkspawn coming. People flee from the Blight with good reason, but they forget things. Things with value and meaning. They leave them behind because they're frightened and desperate. And sometimes, my boy and I, we find our way to these places before the Horde descends, and we save these things. I take them away so the Darkspawn don't get them. Is that so bad? They destroy everything they touch. That's what I tell myself, too. Ah, these are dark times indeed. Dark times, my friend. Ah, yes. I'm married to a fine woman back in Denerim, it's true. She'd give me a son if she could, but that's not likely to ever be. Sandal here, I found him in the deep roads years ago. Abandoned, I think, and he was never quite right in the head. I took him in, and I brought him with me when I came here to the surface. He may not be my blood, true, but I think of him as one.
We left Orzammar.
That's right, boy. Maybe one day we'll see it again. It's not as if I don't benefit, mind you. Turns out the boy's a natural working with enchantments. He might have even been lyrium-addled. I never thought of that before, to be honest. Happens sometimes. He can work an enchantment into just about anything, however, given some time. Could probably open his own shop, if he knew how.
Enchantment.
Well, he does seem to enjoy it, at least. Of course. Good fortune to you and yours.
Goodbye.
Okay, let's pick up the Warden's Keep quest from Levy Dryden.
You're a hard woman to find. Where are my manners? The name is Levy Dryden. Did Duncan ever mention me? Levy of the coins? Levy the trader? Really? He never told you of old Levy? We've known each other for years. But here I am carrying on while you have a blight to stop. Don't want to waste your time. But you see, Duncan promised that together we'd look into something important for the Wardens. And for me. But poor Duncan's... well, no more. A tragedy it is, at that. But I know he would want his work carried on. His pledge fulfilled. My family, well, past a bit checkered to see. Nobles look at us with disdain. My great-great-grandmother, Sophia Dryden, was the last Warden Commander of Ferelden back when the Wardens were known as freeloaders. So King Arland banished the Wardens, and he took House Dryden's land and titles. Hard to say. After King Arland died, there was a civil war, loads worse than this one, and our family was on the run, hunted by enemies, with nary a friend in the world. But Drydens are tough. We rebuilt, became merchants, and we never lost our pride. As for the truth, my family reveres Sophia Dryden. We know she died at the old Grey Warden base, Soldier's Peak. We want evidence to clear her name. It won't restore our land or our titles, but it'll restore our honor. Well, no one's been to Soldier's Peak since Arland's days. At least none that's come back. I spent years mapping the maze of tunnels to the peak, and I found the way a few years back. So I went to Duncan, I did, and I said that he could reclaim the old base and my family could have its honor. Darkspawn surfaced in southern Ferelden, and Duncan got plenty busy recruiting new wardens and meeting with good King Caelan. Duncan said he would help after the Battle of Ostagar. Said there might be useful things at the peak, but he never had the chance. I can pick my way through the tunnels at the base of Soldier's Peak, but the place, well, they say it's haunted, and it'll be dangerous for certain. Will you think on it at least? Soldier's Peak is strategic and symbolic importance. Duncan said that it would be worth it right there. He also hoped to recover lost Warden history and perhaps a few old relics. No one knows what's up there now. 1,000 blessings upon you, Warden. I'll mark down the location on your map. When you arrive, we'll pick our way through the tunnels together.
Now let's have a little chat with Morrigan.
I have a thought. We have an opportunity that I believe we should take advantage of. To the point. My mother was once divested of a particular grimoire by a most annoying Templar hunter. It occurred long before I was born, but even today, Flemeth speaks of the loss with great rage. With the circle of magi in such disarray, it occurs to me that this might be the perfect time to recover the tome from their possession, for surely it eventually ended up in their hands. Flemeth is a sorceress of legend, is she not? And her grimoire would be more than a mere curiosity to mages that daren't even glance towards the places my mother has walked for eons. No doubt 'tis considered something dangerous, perhaps best locked away somewhere dark, yes? And if not, then at least I know it does not exist. But there is no harm in looking, surely? Good. I am most interested to see its contents, should it be located. The grimoire is leather-bound and adorned with the symbol of a leafless tree, should you come across it. If not, however, then I shall simply put it out of my mind. I await your command. At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees. For a time, but one can only remain a child for so long. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. 'Twas encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds. I saw what I desired, and I took it. Such a concept did not even exist to me. Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken. That is because I learned my lesson well. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been. They did indeed. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality. I await your command. So, full of questions, are you? I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend. Changing her form, certainly. Devouring lost children, I cannot say. She has not done it in my experience, though in truth my lifespan is but a fraction of her own. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know? The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess. Anyone with sufficient will, but the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed. Oh? Then I have no doubt your people do much to keep their talents well hidden from humans. I wonder if I was to ask one of your keepers of the origin of their magics, if there would be any relation to what I was taught. Ah, this makes sense according to what I know of the elves. Alas. There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary. They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask. Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch? A most practical opinion. Far more so than any man I have spoken to. But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us. I await your command. So, full of questions, are you? Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I? Oh, what luck. What is it you asked? If I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness. For the most part. Flemeth taught me well. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for. Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps. Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be traveling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested. Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting? To begin with, yes. What is the point of touching my hand? I find it an offensive intrusion. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again. I have no qualm with the mission I have been set to. Flemeth was correct, like it or not. The Darkspawn are an enemy of all. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes? I await your command. So, full of questions, are you? My mother has been hunted from time to time, yes, by Templar fools like Alistair, which should tell you how successful they generally were. Flemeth made a bit of a game of it, in fact. The Templars would come again, and she would look at me and smile and say that the fun was to begin once more. I found the game fun. I was too young to understand the truth behind what was happening. Flemeth would warn them once. 'Twas a warning they inevitably failed to heed. And then the true game began. Often Flemeth would use me as bait. A little girl to scream and run and lure the Templars deeper into the wilds and to their doom. 'Twas a game, and I a young girl. If I didn't get to play, I would have been very upset. Thankfully, the wilds is a vast place. Once they found us, Flemeth would simply move us elsewhere, and we would be lost within the forest once again. I did not understand the danger we faced until I was much older. I had never heard of apostates or maleficarum. You do not know? The zealots use that word for any magic they do not control. The chantry sees any mages not leashed to the circle of magi as apostates. And apostates could become maleficarum, evil mages that resort to blood magic and become demon-enslaved abominations. It may even be true. Still, those of us who prefer freedom see no reason to submit. Oh, I hope you are not simply being agreeable. It would be a refreshing change. Enough of this talk. Let us return to the task at hand.
Okay, I think I managed to complete everything I wanted to complete in this episode. The most important thing was obviously to get through the bloody plains. As I said, in the next episode I'm gonna do the sergeant's quests, which of course means that I have to visit the Pearl, so I might as well get rid of Baden as well, and pick up the last body for the tavern quest. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna create a hard save here, and I hope we see each other back in Denerim.